Well, I would say that probably just how important my personal time with Jesus is. Just something I know, but you really know it when you're going through a time of crisis. So that's what sustained me every day, to have that time to be refreshed, renewed, and rejuvenated.
One of the things he has shown me is just the unity of the church. I've just seen people come together and, roll up their sleeves, and things that we've wanted to get done, they've made it happen. I'm proud of our church. I've definitely seen unity.
These past 3 months, God has really been showing me the importance of pressing in to Him and keeping my eyes on Him, not on the social media, not listening to people, but focusing on what He's saying to us.
I think what God has shown me through this pandemic is the ability and the capabilities within us as a staff that He drew out during this time. It was just amazing to see what God did in me, certain skills and things that through this were drawn out. And even with our staff, the level of excitement, the level of leadership, and even the level of the different creativities of ministries that we did during this time just blew me away. I don't know if it would have come out in any other way other than through something that almost kind of forced it out. And it just reminded me that God sees things in us that we don't see. And sometimes when we go through seasons and we don't understand why, it's because He's drawing more things out, increasing our level of faith and our need and reliance on Him. And so that was just something that really stuck out to me through this pandemic.
I guess it would be the faithfulness of Victory Church in their giving and in their serving. It was just, week after week, the giving was consistent, and those who served were just faithful.
What I saw for the grocery drive-thru was when we came up with this idea as a pastoral staff, we just saw people mobilized. We had people that started doing shopping. The offerings from day one, the first time we put out the opportunity to give in an offering for the grocery drive, the money started coming in. So I was really proud to see just the mobilization of Victory Church.
That was exciting. First of all, for the ones that were faithful in coming out every week, shopping, and I can name a couple of people, Joanne Cook, Mary and Tom England. They were faithful to come out every week, and Cecilia King. And we just thank them so much. But also the people were just so grateful, so thankful for everything. And even some had even offered to pay and give money and take them to their friends. So, that was just a real blessing that we were able to reach out to the community in the midst of it all.
What impacted me the most about the grocery drive-thru would definitely be just the consistency of people serving and the need in our community. Every week we set up cones and signs, and we had volunteers coming in and packing grocery bags with toilet paper and food, and there were people who would come early every single week because they knew that there would be food and supplies here through this pandemic. And for me, just seeing that, we had a gentleman who would just come walking, and he'd stand and wait at 15 of 10 before we officially opened, and he just knew to come to the church to get physical needs. And I think that's just what blew me away, was the consistency of church people just stepping up and serving even through this.
Lord, send it now, the move of your spirit, heaven break out, come now in power, cover this land like you've done it before. Come on! Lord, send revival, Lord, send it now, a move of your spirit, heaven break out, come now in power, cover this land like you've done it before. Come on! Oh, Lord, send revival, Lord, send it now, a move of your spirit, heaven
I guess it was seeing, the literal places that we were praying for, to actually see the State House, to see places of poverty, places of need, and to pray specifically with the actual place in mind. And also the deeper sense, or the spiritual sense, of knowing that we were praying against principalities and powers, spiritual forces, so that the sense of we're doing spiritual warfare right now. We're praying against the powers of darkness.
Yeah, so a couple of things. Number one, to see our people come out and be part of that was very exciting. So there's that angle, but driving through the city and driving past strip clubs and driving past the hospitals in Providence and knowing people were sick in there, and the hopelessness of the girls and even the men that frequent the strip clubs and abortion clinics, I just felt such a hopelessness that so many people, even going through the pandemic, so many people just without God, it is hopeless. And I just had this sense driving around in that prayer drive of just a hopelessness of people.
Prayer drive was awesome. It was, first of all, the excitement of the people, but also just going through the city and knowing that we are impacting the city with the powerful prayers of everyone joining together, pulling down the strongholds and coming against the wickedness over the city. So I'm believing God honored that prayer drive, and we're going to see results in this city.
What impacted me the most about the prayer drive was I knew church people would come out because they are prayer warriors and they're faithful, and so that of course impacted me a lot. But the biggest thing that stood out was the support of our city. Having the mayor come and give a greeting, and then giving us a full police escort so that we could stay in one line and drive around the city praying over the specific needs, getting to go through red lights, getting to go on the highway safely, and everyone getting to stay together. I think that just impacted me the most, was just the support of our city and seeing God's favor over our church in that aspect.
Come and do what you do. Set our hearts on you. Come and do what you do. 'Cause we need a move. We need a move. Miracles happen when you move. Healing is coming in this room. Miracles happen when you move.
The drive-in, I guess it would be, it provided a nice transition from speaking into the camera and doing the live stream to actually seeing people's faces, to not just be in a room with just a couple of us, but to actually be outside, get to see everyone, greet them, welcome them, and just to be with them in a physical sense.
The excitement, just the excitement. People were beyond excited to come. They were excited about the idea. They drove in. We had to keep telling them, you can't toot your horns because of the neighbors, and they just wanted to keep tooting their horns. And one of our members came up with the idea of creating flags that people could wave out through the crack in their window when they wanted to say amen. And so just seeing people get excited about those services, that really meant a lot to us.
Drive-in services, it was just exciting seeing people. We had one, that final week, I think it was, with the flags, waving the flags, and just people coming out. And I think it was God's great faithfulness as far as the weather. Every week, God gave us such beautiful weather. And everything just went so smoothly. So it was just amazing how God helped us to facilitate bringing our people onto the property. Even though we couldn't come into the building, we were still able to join together in that capacity to worship.
What impacted me the most about the drive-in services would just have to be the level of excitement that it brought. There's no time I can ever think of where churches were forced to close their doors, and for people that was such a big change. And thank God we had the technology where we could still connect via live stream, but when people could come in and be around one another, even if it was in their cars, and see each other's faces, there was such excitement, whether it was seeing a newborn baby who we saw before the pandemic and seeing him in person and seeing the changes that they were going through, and just people honking and staying around with their windows rolled down and just connecting. That just is what blew me away. It really showed us our need for community and our need to be around church people, to be encouraged.